Hi everyone, I'm Lisa and welcome to Lisa's Stamp Studio. Today is week 3 in my series on embossing paste. I'm showing you 3 different ways you can use it. If you've missed the prior videos, just head over to my blog. Click on the I button here at the top. It'll navigate you there easily and I have all the links for you. Today I want to teach you a fun overlay. We're going to do some sponging and then we're going to overlay the paste. Just off camera here, I have a bin with some hot water in it. You're going to want something nearby or you're going to want to go right to the sink when you're finished. This embossing paste dries very, very quickly. So you're going to want to make sure that you don't leave it on your palette or on your mask too long. I'm going to start with a piece of Whisper White cardstock. I'm using little Post-it note flags to hold this down to my work surface. And I've covered my work surface to protect it as well. This is Teflon paper. Lots of you have been asking me about this. It's actually the same type of Teflon paper that you use in the kitchen. I actually bought this at Amazon and I love it for my embossing paste when I'm doing a larger area than my silicone craft sheet will actually accommodate. So I've got that anchored down, and today I'm going to use this really beautiful medallion to do the paste. So let's go ahead and get the sponging down first. I'm going to use 3 colors. I've got Peekaboo Peach, Flirty Flamingo, and Sweet Sugar Plum. I've got my 3 colors here at the top and I've got a separate wedge of sponge for each single one. Since I've covered up my grid paper up underneath here, I did want to bring in a scratch piece of paper so I can actually sponge off a little bit of the color so I can control it. So I'm going to hold it by the wedge to keep my fingers clean, and I'm going to ink up my sponge, and I like to tap off. The reason I do that is I don't want the very first amount of ink that I place on here to be too strong. And I'm just going to work in just small areas, so it doesn't matter where you put it. There's really no rhyme or reason to this. So I'm just going to start by filling in the areas, and I'm just going to alternate colors. Okay, you can see that I filled in the paper randomly with my 3 colors. I did remove the Post-it flags along the way so I could sponge the sides. My next step for this card is actually going to be using water in the spritzer tool. And I just added regular tap water in here. And I am going to spritz this, and then I'm going to blot it with a paper towel, and you're going to see, I've got a big drop right there, but I think that's going to look pretty cool. You're going to see that what it does is it picks up a little bit of ink and provides very much a pebbled type surface. And I'm going to wipe down my work surface a little bit from my mist, and then we're going to get our mask ready. There are 4 masks that come in the package with Stampin' Up! This is, of course, the medallion we're going to use today. And then, of course, there's a brick pattern and a really pretty lattice pattern. And then finally, there is a cloud pattern. And if you missed it, there's a link over on my blog on how you can make custom masks or stencils as well. You're also going to need the palette knives. There are 3 in the package to choose from. This is my personal favorite, but they all work great. All right, and now I'm going to anchor this down one more time. So I've got this down, I've got my fresh colors here, and I've got that white splotch. I got a little zealous there with the water, but I don't think it's going to really matter. I'm going to try to position my stencil so that's going to work to our advantage. Look, do you see how I'm going to center this right here? I'm also going to use a few more flags to anchor this down. Now the Teflon paper that I'm using is resistant to anything sticking to it, so I'm not going to be too zealous. I'm using the embossing paste. You're going to want to make sure that you close this as soon as you're finished. It's very quick to dry, and then it's closed tightly. I actually kept that little liner that's inside the lid, and I'm going to mix this up. I'm going to grab a little bit here on my palette, and I'm going to lay it right over the top. So I'm spreading it, covering up the image, and I'm making a thin layer. I didn't want to make this too thick. It'll take a little bit longer to dry too if it's thick. I wanted to make sure I mentioned that to you as well. So I'm just spreading it right over the image, being careful not to get it in an area here that I don't want it. So I'm going to use that little thin edge to my advantage, and I'm spreading and spreading. If you have inconsistencies, which means you have some areas that are covered really well and others aren't, that's quite all right. The whole purpose of the embossing paste is to provide a really gorgeous texture to your card. Now I know too that my Post-it flag here at the bottom is getting paste on it, but remember I actually cut this paper bigger than I'm going to need for my finished project. All right, so now I've got it spread all over. I'm scraping off that excess. I'm going to put that right back in the jar. No need to waste, right? Scrape that as well. All right, right off camera, that's going right in that tub, that palette knife. Same with my mask. I'm going to lift that carefully. And that's going right in that tub of hot water as well. You don't want that to dry on your masks any way, shape, or form. So you want to make sure that you have hot water nearby, or you're able to go right to the sink. But look at this. Oh, is this not phenomenal? Isn't this beautiful? You can actually see the colors right through it. Now, if you've got an area here at the edge where you've got paste, just take one of your other palette knives, I just threw that one in the water, and just scrape off your edges. And if you have a boo-boo, you can find that you actually can go over it. Look, that watermark doesn't even show. Want to see one of my finished cards? Really was happy with how this turned out. Isn't that beautiful? Then I colored in some pearls with a Sharpie marker and just played it up with some framelits and with some words. Just really, really simple. This is just one more way that you can use the brand new embossing paste. If you missed those other videos, remember, head over to my blog. Thanks so much for joining me, everyone. I look forward to seeing you next time. Have a great day.